Yo, how we doing? We good? We vibing? I hope so. Patrick Cece.
Oh, mano. Chino.
I think I've already done a video like this before with him. This video is called The Key and Peele Situation. It's crazy. I actually don't know what's going on there. I just saved the video because it's Patrick and it's Key and Peele. You know what I mean? So we're going to tune in. Let's get into it.
Fans were shocked when Key and Peele abruptly announced that they would be ending their iconic sketch comedy show in 2015. At the time, everyone assumed the duo was simply ready to move on to bigger opportunities, and that was true for...
Who don't love Key and Peele? But at the same time, I'm not gonna pretend like I didn't hear what Dave Chappelle had to say about Key and Peele. And that's a little tricky because I just don't wanna take it as face value. If you know what I'm talking about, you know. I love Dave Chappelle, I love Key and Peele. I love all the comedians that I love. Key and Peele, that was fire. Like, they whole back and forth, never seen it. Other than Dave Chappelle, but it was just Dave Chappelle. Of course, Dave Chappelle is an OG. Gotta give respect where, you know, it's respect is due. But at the same time, I don't want to disrespect them at all, what they craft, especially, I think this name Jordan, you know, he has done a lot for sure, directing behind the scenes. And then, you know, bro, I think his name Keegan, with his acting and getting a lot of sponsors and just, you know, peeping ahead. When he in the movie, I'm knowing it's gonna be fire, or the TV show, or when that commercial come on, it's gonna be kind of fire, and I love that. Oh, that's pretty much it. I mean, I just really wanted to say that little bit because they be in a little controversy sometimes, and I don't know, you know what I mean? I don't really pay attention to drama, so I can't really say my 2 cents on. And even though I'm on the internet, I'm still not for the change overly. Like, if I know about it, if I don't, somebody hit me whenever I get some comments and shit like that on the topics I'm talking about. If I'm not educated, educate me, you know what I mean? I'm not afraid of that, but at the same time, me outgoingly going in, looking in people's lives and shit like that, I'm personally not finna do that.
For one of them, Jordan Peele's Hollywood career skyrocketed, becoming one of the most respected filmmakers in the industry. Keegan-Michael Key, on the other hand, has been jobbing for commercials and insignificant roles in films, which is shocking because Key was always considered the more popular of the two and expected to be more successful in the long run. But recently, a comedian who worked closely with Keegan revealed something that completely changed the way fans looked at Key and Peele's relationship. And now many are looking back at awkward interviews, strategic silence, and most importantly, how Keegan's wife may secretly be the reason why the duo feels so distant today. However, there are a lot of baseless rumors and misinformation spreading, as well as important facts we need to dive into before you come to the conclusion of what happened to Key and Peele. Despite the show only running for 3 years, the legacy and impact of Key and Peele cannot be minimized. Just take a look at the Comedy Central
3 years? That's impressive. Man, 3 years? They did a lot in 3 years. Like, the impact they had in them little 3 years. How long Dave Chappelle's show was on? It was like forever. They probably weren't even on that long too. Let me look that up. Nah, I'm not gonna look that up. Whatever. These niggas like that in the comedy shit, man. You gotta give them respect when, like, come on, bro. Look at these numbers, man. 230 million to 2 cheats. Yeah, my guy was funny as fuck.
YouTube channel. 18 out of their 20 most viewed videos are all Key and Peele sketches, amassing over 1 billion views just on YouTube alone. Think about all the classic Comedy Central roasts, TV shows, and stand-up specials. None of them can even hold a candle to Key and Peele. But it could not have happened if the two didn't develop a deeply personal connection off screen. They were both raised as biracial children to a black father and a white mother, growing up with the unique identity of being mixed. Sometimes they felt that they were never black enough. Sometimes they felt they were never white enough, and were forced to code switch to assimilate with whoever was in the room. This shared life experience would become central to their comedy and to their chemistry in life in general. After moving from Detroit to Chicago, Keegan-Michael Key crossed paths with Jordan Peele, making the rounds in the local improv comedy scene. The two realized they had incredible synergy, so they started working together and were eventually picked up as writers and talent on the Fox sketch comedy show Mad TV.
Banker is prepared to offer you $350,000.
No deal.
We going for the million, dog. We going for the million. We going for the million. We going for the million. Don't matter. Don't matter what you say, because we going for the million.
The few sketches
I'm not even really gonna say my thoughts there. I've never seen this TV show called Mad TV. Not even a little bit. If y'all have, let me know in the comments if it was fire.
that they did together on Mad TV displayed their incredible chemistry and indicated that they needed their own show.
What do I always say? Stay on the inside.
Jinx, no backsies, no penny taxis.
What?
You ain't supposed to talk. Jinx,
Double jinx, triple jinx, Googleplex. Damn! Hey, guy! Interruptions! Hands up, seas! Jinx, go away! Come again another day!
Unfortunately, their time on Mad TV was short-lived until the entire program was canceled in 2009. Afterwards, Key landed a supporting role in the short-lived sitcom Gary Unmarried, which was canceled in 2010. Meanwhile, Jordan's pilot for a comedy show titled The Station had been shut down by Fox executives, leaving both of them without work. That's when their shared talent manager suggested that the two get together and try to launch their own project.
So my sitcom got canceled and his pilot for Fox didn't go. And our manager said, would you guys be interested in doing something together? Because I've got a situation that I think I can leverage.
The result of this was them creating their own sketch comedy show called Key and Peele, which was picked up by Comedy Central and slated for a 2012 release. Their series debut came right after the season 4 premiere of Tosh.0, setting the comedy duo up for the biggest opportunity of their careers. And to say they capitalized on it would be an understatement. Two of their most...
What the fuck happened to Daniel Tosh? Now that they say that shit, like, what happened to Daniel Tosh? Is that his first name? I might just be talking. But what happened to Tosh.0? Like, Tosh.0 was hit. Like, I feel like once I kind of grew up, I grew out of it fast, though. That's one thing that I did with, like, Ridiculousness, Rob, and Big, you know what I mean? Their TV show, I grew out of that fast. I don't know. I can't really pinpoint if it was corny. It was just something about it was just fake. Obviously, it is a TV show and it's entertainment now, but I'm understanding that now, but not like back then when I first got into these TV shows. I was like, this shit is fire. But then once I figured out, I'm like, well, once I got a feeling like this was like set up or fake, I was, yeah, it's over with.
Most iconic sketches were in the very first episode, starting with a classic where the two attempt to say a forbidden word in regards to their wives, which by the end of this video, you'll see how incredibly ironic it is that this was the very first Key and Peele sketch.
I looked this woman in the eye, I said, bitch, you told me 6:45.
You said that?
Yeah, I said,
In the same episode,
Man, Key and Peele was so goddamn funny, man.
their next bit was Jordan acting as President Obama giving a speech to the country, and Key acting as his anger translator, turning his respectful words into aggressive commands.
I just want to say to my critics, I hear your voices, and I'm aware of your concerns.
so maybe if you could chill the hell out for like a second, then maybe I can focus on some you know?
The show was an instant hit. Over 2 million viewers tuned in for the debut episode, and future episodes would continue to pull in millions of viewers. Every season they put out a new sketch that would become a cultural staple, like the East-West College Bowl, where they poked fun at ridiculous names of college athletes.
Hingle McCringleberry, Penn State University.
Le Carpetron Duke Maria, Florida Atlantic University.
Dinklage Morgan, University of South Florida.
Speaking of names, we have to mention the substitute teacher bit, where Key cannot pronounce extremely common.
I feel like if I don't say this, I'm gonna regret not saying this, right? I don't like that all his videos that's been shown right now are examples of a very... If you're black, you see what if you know what I'm talking about. Like, this is like a very how can I explain this? Like, if you ever seen them comedians back in the day, way back in the day, the first ever black comedian was only his popping jokes was like talking about black people, and this is like talking about black people. Like, he's showing examples of talking about black people and how we, you know. And I get it, but it's like, I kind of don't like it. Even though it's funny. I'm not going to say it's not funny or anything, and I get where he's coming from and all that shit. I just kind of don't like it. I just kind of like, these are bare bone. I feel like I'm not no professional comedian. You know what I mean? I'm not either of that. I feel like these are low-bearing fruit jokes. Well, maybe, and then, yeah, I'll still laugh right now. I'm still fucking laugh because it's hilarious. But running it back, now looking it over, it be like, talking about how, you know, black people or Black Americans make up, well, not make names, make up names like it's make believe, but it just, we do have some ridiculous names sometimes. And not saying it's not unique. Like, when dude want to get older and he want to change his name to fucking Kevin or KJ, you know, he can do that. But if your parent want to be unique, nigga, he and she, mom and dad made your ass, nigga. You ain't got no choice right now. You just got to deal with the shit, you know what I mean? I guess, you know, they pretty fucked. They're not saying that, you know, they not fucked up. Cause they are fucked up. Back to what I was saying. I feel like these jokes right here are low hanging fruit for sure, because everybody know that. Like, that ain't, you know, in 2000, whatever, everybody knew that. You know, been before the 2000s, everybody knew that. I feel like that's really kind of fucked up, I guess. Maybe in my eyes or whatever. It's kind of fucked up. I don't know. Maybe I'm just talking. No, I'm not talking. Because in reality, I know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, these shit is low bearing, you know, it's just low bearing fruit jokes. Like, it's funny, but it's just low bearing fruit jokes. That shit is kind of like lame at the end of the day, because it's not like you uplifting Black people in these jokes. But they don't just do this, you know, just to Black people. You know, they do a lot, you know, to white people too. But I was just talking about the examples that I'm looking at right now.
American names.
So why didn't you say it the first time I said Aaron?
Because it's pronounced Aaron?
Son of a... You done messed up, Aaron!
People still call me Aaron to this day. To this day. They had a way of making relatable humor refreshingly absurd, but I personally liked when they would lean into their ridiculousness a little more. My favorite sketch of theirs is Prepared for Terry's, where the two act as borderline schizophrenics who are trying to convince the passenger next to them that they will protect the entire plane if a terrorist tries to take over.
You gonna have to be ready to kidnap a Terry.
You're gonna have to be ready to torture a Terry.
I don't think that's necessary.
Absolutely, you have to fireboard those mother jammers.
And if this is somehow the first time you're ever hearing of Key and Peele, I think the biggest sign of their success and cultural significance is that the...
Bro, when he got up that motherfucker with Obama, I was like, that's a big one. I don't care who hating. Like, just give it to him. Watching that live, or when I first seen it, it was so fucking funny because nobody done it before. You know what I mean? So that's hilarious. And then especially around this time, hilarious.
Literal president of the United States invited Keegan-Michael Key to do a remake of their anger translator bit, but during a real speech.
Because despite our differences, we count on the press to shed light on the most important issues of the day.
And we can count on Fox News to terrify old white people with some nonsense.
In 3 short years, Key and Peele managed to create a culturally iconic sketch comedy show filled with quotable moments reminiscent of early 2000s comedy films. And since YouTube and social media was on track to replace TV and movie theaters, Key and Peele proved that the future of comedy was in good hands. But then, shockingly, in 2015, Keegan-Michael Key announced that they were ending the show. This is our final season, and it's not because of Comedy Central, it's us. It was just time for us to explore other things, together and apart. I compare it to Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor. We might make a movie and then do our own thing for 3 years and then come back and do another movie. Fans were initially disappointed, but in a way, the show lived on much longer than 3 years due to its success on YouTube. Over the years, fans would be scrolling YouTube and randomly see a Key and Peele sketch get recommended to them. It could be one they've seen a dozen times or one they didn't even recognize, but if they click, they can get a guaranteed laugh. Plus, in 2016, the duo released their action comedy film, Keanu, seemingly indicated that their future Hollywood careers would be them working side by side. The duo served as both the writers and leading actors for the film, which gave the movie a sense of familiarity for fans of the show. Now,
I never watched this, so somebody gotta tell me if this is good. Let's if he don't show us, we're gonna go watch a trailer.
The film was met with a lukewarm response from critics, and it only grossed $20 million in the box office. Considering the film's $15 million budget, plus the millions of dollars spent on advertising, the movie significantly underperformed. With that being said, the movie wasn't bad, it was just the first step in a new chapter for the comedy duo. But then, Jordan Peele
Hey, man. How are you? How you doing?
Nothing makes sense anymore.
Are you okay?
Maisie broke up with me.
Well,
It's
It's gonna be okay.
You're right, Clarence. I want you to meet Keanu.
No. Oh my God, that's the cutest guy I've ever seen in my life. Why's your door open?
Keanu.
Keanu! I'm sorry.
Oh, what's up, bro?
I'm here because my place got broken into. Has anyone shady come by here?
I mean, the 17th Street Blips.
The 17th Street Flips. Okay, where are they?
17th Street.
Let's just go check it out. What's the worst that can happen?
We doing all this for Cat though. Keanu, Cat. I see what y'all was doing. I see what y'all was doing.
Here, please.
I'll take a white wine spritz. Clarence. Yeah. What?
You can't talk like that.
You sound like John Ritter all the time.
You in the right place?
Yeah, we're in the right place.
Tectonic.
Nice. My name is Shark Tank. Oh.
Every day I'm hustling. Every day I'm hustling.
Cheddar's got Keanu.
We in the market right now for like a gangster pet.
You serious? I am not breaking the law.
We just feed him some bull about New Jack City and we get Keanu.
You ain't never seen nobody get killed before?
I seen people get killed before.
Oh, come on, man.
Keanu needs you. I need you.
Where are you?
What do you think my idea fun was?
Why are you talking to me like that?
I talk like that sometimes.
Check it.
Buckshot. So what you got?
Me?
Appendix. Blam.
It took it out of my body.
What?
Mm-hmm. See what we got here.
Yeah, about lukewarm. I give it about a lukewarm. Even the trailer was about a lukewarm to me. It wasn't nothing crazy.
Shocked the world with the announcement of his directorial debut psychological horror film, Get Out. The movie followed a young black man named Chris visiting the wealthy white family of his girlfriend, who didn't know that he was black. The family initially appeared to be progressive and accepting towards the boyfriend, but it was awkward. Like they were so eager to express their appreciation for black culture. The family's hired staff to help with their house duties are all black and behave strangely. All of their white friends are overly interested in Chris, seemingly obsessing over his black identity. Later, Chris finds out that his girlfriend had been dating black people all of her life, but luring them to her family's estate where they would be hypnotized, psychologically manipulated, and then sold for a sinister procedure. The family would surgically remove the black person's brain and replace them with the consciousness of the aging white clients who wanted to continue living through the younger black bodies.
Nigga what?
Nigga what? Oh, I might have to watch that. And I didn't never watch that. You know what I mean? It's so crazy. Cause I thought he had another movie with the black family and shit like that. He probably finna show that too. But this looks, I don't want to say fire, but it looks like, what's going on? Like, why? Okay, but it looks fire though. For sure looks fire.
The scariest part is that the victims themselves wouldn't fully die either. Their consciousness would remain trapped deep inside their own minds in what the film calls the sunken place, forced to helplessly watch someone else control their body forever. Jordan was one of the trailblazers in weaving social commentary in a genre film in the 2010s. The film was universally celebrated for its terrifying atmosphere, uncomfortably hilarious moments, and unapologetic social commentary. With a $5 million budget, the movie grossed $250 million at the box office.
That's how you goddamn hit one in the motherfucking park. That's how you do that right there. Oh, only a $4.5 million budget. We go $259 million off a $4.5 budget. That's what we do off a little budget. Not even a little budget, because $4.5 million is some money too. But that's tough. And he directed that? That's tough. Good chunk of change right there. I didn't really see any good, high actors in there. Like in that little clip that he just seen. I didn't see no Method Man. I didn't see no, even though I don't know, they price act him. You know what I mean? It's probably not as high as like a Denzel Washington.
And received countless awards from various institutions, including the Oscar for Best Original Screenplay. Overnight, Jordan Peele went from that funny guy from Comedy Central to a legitimately serious creative mind in the entertainment industry. What's interesting is that Keegan-Michael Key was primarily regarded as the heavy hitter of the duo. In 2015 and 2016, Key was nominated for Outstanding Supporting Actor in a comedy series at the Emmys. However, Peele was not nominated for the same role. Key also gained his relevancy from his appearance at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, something that Peele was also excluded from. Not to mention that Key received way more acting gigs in major TV shows and movies during Key and Peele's run. Most people believed Key would be the more successful of the two, and yet Jordan was now receiving worldwide praise without Key's involvement at all. Well, that's not entirely true. Keegan-Michael Key is actually a major reason why Get Out got made in the first place.
Were you reading this at all as he was writing? Were you involved in it all?
Yeah. He said I wasn't involved in any of the writing, but he sent me the script, and I remember at one point in time I either wrote him. No, I was in the room, and I came into the office the next day, and I put the script on his desk. And I went, ooh, I said this could be something, and then I went and talked to a good friend of mine, Sean McKittrick. I made a movie with Sean McKittrick from QC Entertainment, who made it, and I said, you guys should really read Jordan's scripts. And then now here we are. And like Sean came up to me at a party, and he hugged me, and I'm like, why are you hugging me? He's like, you brought the script to me, and I was like, look, but it was amazing. I could bring 1 million scripts to you, but if it wasn't that amazing, who would have made it? It's such a fresh story.
And as if things couldn't get any better for Jordan, he followed up with a producer role on the 2018 film Black Klansman, which also received 6 Academy Award nominations.
Never seen that, man. To see that, we're gonna look that up.
And in 2019,
there's never been a black cop in this city. We think you might be the man to open things up around here.
Hello, this is Ron Stallworth calling. Who am I speaking with? This is David Duke, Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan. That David Duke? God. Last time I checked. What can I do you for? Well, since you asked, I hate blacks. I hate Jews, Mexicans and Irish, Italians and Chinese. But my mouth to God's ears, I really hate those black rats. And anyone else, really, that doesn't have pure white Aryan blood running through their veins.
I'm happy to be talking to a true white American.
God bless white America.
Hey, cause you almost lost me.
KKK is planning an attack.
How do you propose to make this investigation?
I've established contact over the phone. We'll need a white officer to play me when they meet face to face.
You for the white race, Ron?
Oh, hell yeah. So there becomes a combined Ron Stallworth.
Can you do that?
With the right white man, we can do anything.
Message. Okay, that wasn't that bad, for real. That wasn't no crazy shit that I thought it was gonna be. But it does look good. Might have to intune on these both shows like that when I find them.
Jordan continued his reign of dominance as a director.
Now this is the show I watched. Well, I think I watched. Probably watched part of it. But it was good. It was just crazy though.
Director with the release of Us, a psychological horror film following a family on vacation that gets terrorized by another family that looks exactly like them. Once again, critics and fans loved it. The film grossed over $250 million worldwide against a budget of only around $20 million, proving Get Out wasn't some lucky one-time success. In just a few years, Jordan Peele had fully transcended comedy and established himself as one of the most commercially successful and critically respected directors in Hollywood. And with every massive success, the gap between him and Keegan-Michael Key only seemed to grow wider. Key stayed consistently busy between 2016 and 2020, stacking dozens of television appearances, voice acting roles, commercials, guest spots, and supporting performances across sitcoms, animated shows, and streaming series. Shows like Modern Family, The Simpsons, Archer, Friends from College, and Green Eggs and Ham. Instead of evolving into a singular creative force with a clear artistic identity, Key slowly started feeling more like a talented utility player in Hollywood. He was everywhere, but never the main character. And after Jordan's third directorial release, Nope, in 2022, which was yet another resounding success.
I heard this was good too. I wanted to watch this. Like, I might have to watch all these again. Cause these look fire. Like, he went crazy.
by fans and critics, you could argue that Jordan Peele has completely eclipsed his role in Key and Peele, with his efforts as a horror writer and director becoming the focal point of his legacy. The same cannot be said for Key, as many still remember him primarily as the guy from Key and Peele. I think it's interesting that Key is doing commercials that show up on Hulu, and Peele is one of the driving forces of cinema. I kinda hate comparing them because Key is also incredibly talented, but Peele is truly on another level. And while they may have grown apart in the public eye, very few question the legitimacy of their friendship behind the scenes. And that's because they did things like joining forces in a Netflix animated film called Wendell and Wild, where Jordan and Keegan serve as voice actors for two of the primary characters. And although the animation was captivating, many fans felt disappointed in the story. The duo also teamed up in Toy Story 4 to play side characters Ducky and Bunny. People had assumed that because they did these collaborations that everything was all good between them, but Key would speak on this directly during an interview in 2024. We don't see each other that often anymore, which is, to me, a tragedy. Key went on to explain in a separate interview that them living far apart from each other played a major factor in their estrangement. Whenever we have an opportunity to see each other, we do. Whenever we have an opportunity, I certainly enjoy spending time with him. So when my travels take me to Los Angeles, he's usually one of the first calls that I make. I land and I go, "Hey buddy, we're in town." And often we get to have dinner. Our relationship is like a good friend's relationship, where you pick up where you left off, or the little things that you shared in the past, you just go right back into it again. I look forward to seeing him in 2025.
That sound fire to me. That sound like my homie just, going on his path like a One Piece journey. Like everybody just going on two different journeys. You know what I mean? Well, One Piece characters didn't see each other for 2 years. Luffy out there going to Impel Down, breaking out, doing the war, lost his brother. Brook became a rock star. So, you know what I mean? I just feel like personally, that's fine. It shouldn't be a problem. I feel like that's damn near the most healthier you can get. When you meet up with your guy, oh, were you in Houston? I'm in Houston, bro. You feel me? We go up and just fire-ass food, catch up. Like, he telling me stories that just, I be like, damn, you went well? Damn. Yeah, where the guy out there? He's showing me pictures and shit like that. Shit fire.
What's interesting is that Jordan Peele gets interviewed way more than Keegan because he's way more active and front-facing in Hollywood, and yet he has said literally nothing about his former comedy partner, which creates the appearance that Jordan Peele has moved on while Key continues to live in the past. Like when Key was asked about a Key and Peele reunion, and he said, "Right now we're expressing ourselves that way, and I think we'll find ourselves back together. I do not have a timeline for that, but I would jump at the chance to work with him again in any capacity." Fans had no reason to believe that there was any bad blood between them. Maybe they had simply grown apart naturally over time, but that assumption started falling apart after a comedian who worked closely with Keegan publicly shared a story that completely changed the way people looked at Key and Peele's relationship. In April of 2026, comedian Akilah Hughes shared her experience working with Keegan-Michael Key using the not-so-subtle code names of Locke and Banana.
He is, and I don't think this is too shady, I think it's true, the less successful half of a comedy duo that was prolific in the 2010s. Perhaps, I think their code names could be Locke and Banana.
She also tweeted, "If you ever wondered why K and PEL don't work together anymore, watch the next video in this thread." So there is absolutely no confusion in regards to who this story is about. Akilah got connected with Keegan-Michael Key while developing her own sketch comedy show, not necessarily for his creative input, but because she needed an established celebrity attached as an executive producer to help make the project more attractive to networks and studio executives, which is very common in the industry. But with Keegan came his wife, Elle Key, who supposedly wiggled her way to an executive producer role for the show.
My agent at the time calls me and she goes, "How is pitching going? How do people feel about Locke?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, they love him. Everybody loves Locke." And she's like, "That's great, that's great. How do they feel about his wife, who is now somehow the executive producer on my show?" And I'm like, I hadn't really thought about it. I don't think people like her very much.
But the strategy was effective. Having Keegan on as a producer landed them an official offer from Disney. Then one day, Akilah was contacted by Jordan Peele's wife, Chelsea Peretti, warning her about Keegan's wife and her involvement.
She says, "I'm just calling you because I wish someone would have warned me." She does about an hour of a monologue at me about how, she thinks that his wife is like Phil Hartman's wife. that she wouldn't trust her to hold a baby. That she once poured alcohol on her birthday cake and this person is sober. And she says there's no accounting for how much money she's cost that black man.
Despite the warning, Akilah continued working with them. After all, she had quit her job and moved to LA to chase this dream, but it proved to be a mistake. Apparently, Elle, who remember was not ever asked to be a part of this show, continued to insert her unwanted opinions in the writer's room.
Her notes are, comedy happens in threes. The letter K is funny. And finally, give the audience some candy. Now, how do you implement these notes?
None of the writers thought her ideas were good or funny, so they were ignored, to which Elle responded by threatening to sue the network. Akilah doesn't add much context here, but she is trying to make the accusation that Elle was just trying to ruin the project since it wasn't going her way. As a result,
bro, like I couldn't pause it fast enough, bro, because she is selling. That's the notes you're giving me, and we have an opportunity by Disney. That's the notes you're giving me.
She is selling.
Like, our audience is kids, and you said people think the comedy, like words would start with K, is funny.
She is selling.
Boy, I almost tweet out, boy, cause like, what are you saying to me? Like, I'm not understanding. What are you telling me right now? I have to find a way to amplify or put in my jokes or whatever words that start with K because you think it's funny. Who was you? And you said you threatened to sue the company because we didn't take your advice? Bro, she's selling, bro. She just not trying to have this shit. You know what I mean? Damn, I done hit the camera. Bro, she's selling. Nah, I am not trying to hear none of that shit. She's selling.
So the show was stalled and eventually was canceled altogether.
And so that is just a project that I could not talk about, that was never announced, that was supposed to be my dream.
Now, first of all, there weren't many jokes in Akilah's performance. The inclusion of the live band made this some kind of exaggerated live podcast gossip story time session, so it couldn't exactly be brushed off as, oh, well, it's just a joke. And even though all of the details Akilah shared are incredibly vague, it's unlikely she would create a 12-minute story of completely baseless lies, especially considering the allegations aren't really that scathing. Like, the idea of established Hollywood celebrities derailing a dream project for an upcoming creator because it didn't go their way sounds like something that happens every day in Hollywood. But it would—
And I ain't gonna lie, you some bitch ass niggas because it's not that damn deep. Oh man, like this shit right here be frustrating, man, because it's always gonna be something. It's unfortunate because like why? I would never understand that. That's one thing I would never understand. Why are you going through all this? Like, bro, get on, bro. This ain't your project. Like, you such a bitch. Now she, you know what I mean? I think it's real. I think what she's talking about is dead ass real because that shit sound like it's just a regular thing. And then that's sad as fuck. Sad as fuck because there's people in power that are letting that be a regular thing. Lame ass niggas. You lame, bro. Over some money, over some power, over just because it's not your way. Bro, you lame as hell.
This small added detail at the very end of Akilah's performance that has completely changed people's perspective of Keegan-Michael Key.
He never gets to be himself in public, and his partner has won Oscars. And everyone knows that his wife has ruined his career. It is diminishing returns. He's doing insurance commercials.
After she said that, sensationalized headline—
Now, I'm not gonna say like insurance commercials where I come from is a big ass thing now. Cause I'm thinking you're gonna get money for a little minute. They're gonna be running your shit. It's probably a contract. It's probably not like, I mean, compared to what Jordan's doing, yeah, I mean, shit. And I ain't gonna lie, man. That's one thing I don't do personally, me. I'm not butting in to know what my wife or my girl has anything going on and putting my two emphasis to make that my dream and it's really her dream. That's selfish as fuck.
Emerged from Akilah's performance. Akilah Hughes says she knows exactly why Key and Peele don't work together anymore. Key's crazy wife destroyed Key and Peele, and while Akilah never said it directly, fans jumped to conclusions that Key and Peele had been driven apart by Key's annoying and power-hungry wife, and there is actually a little bit of evidence to back up those claims. 8 months months before this story blew up, a blind item emerged about Key's wife. Personally, I happen to know that Elle Key IRL is a massive narcissist and straight up abusive to the working people in her vicinity. She's using Keegan's talent, fame, and likability to get herself in the room, in front of cameras, a microphone, calls herself a producer or director, and cuts a paycheck. Obviously, she needs to use Keegan because she has no talent or skill sets of her own to stand out without him. Everyone close to him who cares about him sees the abuse and wishes he'd leave her. And while this might sound like even more gossip, this allegation holds weight with a little more factual context. Elle Key, whose real name is Elisa Pugliese, was an aspiring actress who couldn't land anything more than being an extra with no lines or no significance to the plot. From there, she transitioned to being a producer for small-time, low-budget independent drama films that had an extremely small or no theatrical release. She met Keegan at a film festival in early 2016 and became his quote business partner. Eventually, Elle and Keegan's relationship turned romantic and they got married in 2018. So for all the rumors saying that she is the reason why the Key and Peele show ended are just false. The show ended in 2015 and she didn't come into the picture until over a year later. Now the rumors saying that she might be the reason why they didn't continue working together, well, that's entirely different. What you'll notice is that as Elle became more present in Keegan's career, Jordan started becoming more distant. Because remember, Keegan and Jordan worked together in 2022 on that animated show, but shortly after, everything changed. And it all centers around a book that Keegan and Elle co-authored called The History of Sketch Comedy, a journey through the art and craft of humor, which by the way is everyone's favorite subject, comedians talking about comedy. Well, one comedian at least. This book discusses subject matter that Keegan-Michael Key is undoubtedly an expert in, and aptly features him on the cover. They also created a podcast alongside this book. The credits describe Elle as the creator, writer, and director, whereas Key is simply just a performer and co-writer. To be clear, Elle Key has essentially no experience in sketch comedy, and has literally never said anything funny in her entire life. The idea that one of the greatest sketch comedy masterminds was portrayed as second fiddle to his wife in a podcast about sketch comedy was mind-boggling to say the least. But the project was well received. They won a Webby Award for Best Writing in a Podcast. When accepting, Elle gave a 5-word long speech that she couldn't do without crying, and Keegan did not get to say anything.
Find someone who inspires you.
They also did an interview on Late Night with Stephen Colbert, where she sat first chair next to the host, and Key was off to the side as if she was the guest and he didn't belong. Now to some,
I don't know if I would feel some type of way. It's just tricky because you don't want to give any person that much power over you and think you just some second fiddle to their life. If I'm standing beside you, I'm the main character, nigga. You know what I mean? You might be the main character in your eyes, but I'm the main character, nigga. I'm the main character too. You know what I mean? I'm not finna be no second fiddle to nobody. We could be Superman and Batman together. You know what I mean? To anybody. Like, it's enough room. It don't have to be just somebody following somebody. That's kind of lame. Like, that's really lame because, like, leaders talk with other leaders. Kings talk with other kings and queens and talk to other queens. Like you get advice, you know? That's what it should be about. It should not be a pecking order. That shit weak as fuck. Shit should not be feeling like that. So I don't know if he feels like that. We'll have to ask him. But it's just tough. It's a tough situation.
It seems like Keegan is merely being a respectful and generous husband, using his status to elevate his wife and portray her as his equal.
I think we've both discovered that if we work on something together, it's better.
Yeah, that's a really good way of putting it, yeah.
But to others, based on Akila's story, they see her as manipulating and forcing her way into creative spaces she otherwise would have never been a part of. Keegan's wording in this interview is particularly interesting. At first, he comes off endearing, but he also inadvertently admits that his wife uses him to advance her own career.
As you said, all good doors lead to Elle and her opening them.
Yeah, it's like I'm the key and she knows where the doors are. So you just have to have the courage to put the key in the door. It's always wonderful you have someone in your life who can show you where the doors are.
But it goes one step further, because it seems like Keegan has adopted the stereotypical
I don't know how to feel about that.
Typical wife guy personality, similar to Will Smith or Akash Singh, where the central focus of his identity is surrounding his less famous and less successful partner. Backstage at Stephen Colbert, they did one of those classic couples games where they see if they know each other really well, only for Key to completely second guess himself or outright say his wife was right every time they had opposing opinions.
Who said I love you first?
You ready?
Ready.
3, 2, 1. Ha!
Oh. Okay. I guess it was me.
To some, he is just being sweet. To others, he looks pathetic. Like when Keegan was asked what he would...
I mean, I wouldn't say pathetic, because, like, I lean to just that kind of, like, it's really not a big deal. I mean, is it? You would really go back and forth on live TV over, you know, who loved each other. That's kind of weird. I feel like, personally, that's weird. And if it's an alpha beta thing, fuck it, man, because I just feel like it's weird. It's weird. Like, if you want me to go arguing with my woman and just because she might think something that's innocent and you want me arguing with my woman even if I know it's right, even if I know I'm right and it's innocent, like, yeah, babe, I don't fucking know. I don't know what could I question. Like, we got a cat. Who was the, you know what I mean? We both love the cat, but we had the cat 5-6 years. We have an argument or we talking to our friends or something like that, and she say, yeah, I think Elijah was the first one to say he wanted a cat, so we just got a cat. And I come in the room and be like, nah, I think it was you type shit. You want me to be arguing with my girl over that? You niggas lame.
Was most proud of in his entire career, then changed his mind to what his wife said should be his most prideful moment.
What is Keegan's proudest accomplishment?
Okay, my mic was muted, but okay. Hold on now. Whoa, we might be stepping over a little boundaries here. This is a personal question. If Keegan, if he changes his proudest moment to whatever answer that his wife has.
Hold up.
Whoa.
I think this is it. Ready?
She's
3,
gonna be right.
And you're gonna be...
If you can believe it, I'm going to be wrong.
3, 2, 1.
Wife said should be his most prideful moment.
Now, listen to what bro say right here. That was an indication he might have been getting irritated, or I don't know if that was a little sarcasm. It was sarcasm for real, but it was like a haymaker sarcasm. It was different that time. It was different. Like it was a different energy with that one. It was different energy.
What is Keegan's proudest accomplishment? I think this is it. Ready?
She's
3,
gonna be right.
And you're gonna be...
If you can believe it, I'm going to be wrong.
3, 2...
Like, why would he say that? Like, you know what I mean? Why would he say that right there?
1.
She's right.
And if that...
I know y'all seen that. That he just quick to... Yeah, she's right. But he's good at it, though. Like, he's super good at keeping a good face. And
convince you, there's another moment where the 50-year-old man says his wife even picks out his clothes because he can't do it.
Impeccably attired. I want to know what percentage of this is your choice versus your wife's choice, because I know that your wife Elle.
Look, yes, my wife Elle is here. She is here. She's
Here she is.
Yes, my wife Elle has impeccable taste. So I'm one of those people who likes to leave things to the experts. So everything on my body was chosen for me today to wear by Elle.
He seems to seek validation from his wife for literally everything, constantly looking at her to assure that he is saying the right thing.
Sometimes it's a challenge. Sometimes I meet her with a little bit of resistance, or a little bit, a lot of resistance, some resistance. So and she always remains patient with me.
The wife guy personality is often looked at as some sort of humiliation ritual because they publicly have to lower their own status and derive all of their self-worth around how lucky they are to be married to their wives. And although all of this can come across as completely cringe, it doesn't necessarily prove that Elle wedged herself between Keegan and Jordan Peele. TMZ reported that multiple sources connected to Keegan-Michael Key and Elle tell TMZ Akila's stand-up narrative is outlandish and fabricated nonsense. Akila fired back by posting screenshots of DMs, all entirely anonymous, of people trying to corroborate the narrative that Elle is a control freak. We had a whole fake script on set as a decoy to keep her busy and manipulate her while we shot the actual commercial. She kept his own mother and brother from their wedding and systematically cut everyone who was close to him out of his life. So Locke was my godfather growing up and was best friends with my mother all through college, so he had a huge impact on my life until he remarried his now wife. She completely changed him and the way he treated close family and friends. Not too long after he remarried, he cut off my mom and even his own family in a way. It seems that people have entirely bought into the narrative that Keegan was this innocent comic legend whose career and friendship with Jordan Peele has been destroyed by his egomaniac wife who has to control every little thing about him. But not many people are willing to cast blame on Keegan himself, who seems to admit that he didn't know his own potential, didn't believe in himself, and even can't dress himself. Sure, you could call it pathetic, but maybe this guy genuinely would not have pursued anything after Key and Peele if it wasn't for his wife.
And I saw a video of him singing, and I was like, oh, he can really sing. I mean, this is amazing. I said he was like a sports car that's stuck in traffic. Like, he has all of this power and all of this energy, and like, what is he doing with it?
That's the best analogy.
Why aren't you out there going 120 miles an hour? Like, why are you stuck where you are?
Since people were introduced to Keegan and Jordan as a comedic pair with incredible chemistry, it made fans assume that they were inseparable best friends off screen. So when Jordan became a successful director and Keegan didn't ascend in his career, it felt like there had to be some deeper reason, as if they weren't always just two individuals with separate career aspirations. People needed something or someone to blame to justify their career imbalances. Key became the simple answer to a complicated story, but Jordan Peele's strategic silence on all of this leaves so much room for speculation. Until Jordan comes out and says all these rumors are baseless lies and that he and Keegan are still great friends, people are gonna run with the narrative that Key is to blame for all of this. If anything, Key and Peele is a reminder that sometimes your favorite duos aren't best friends, but rather just co-workers who happen to make magic together for a brief moment in time. It reminds me a lot of Drake and Josh, who appeared to be best friends on screen, but behind the scenes was an entirely different story. But check out this video to hear about that.
Patrick, I actually don't know about that Drake and Josh thing. I just seen do a little skit about that. I think they're pretty good now. We might watch that though. Great video, Patrick. I love Key and Peele. I ain't leave it at that. Have a great day. See you next time. Love you. Peace.